You know it's hard out here for a pimp when he tryna get this money for the rent, for the Cadillacs and gas money spent. We'll have a whole lot of bitches jumping shit. You know it's hard out here for a pimp when he tryna get this money for the rent, for the Cadillacs and gas money spent. Will cause a whole lot of jumping shit. You know it's hard out here for a pimp when he tryna get this money for the rent, for the Cadillacs and gas money spent. Will have a whole lot of jumping shit.
What's going on, party people? It's your man, 50 Grand, the Godfather, Nate Milton, and you are about to listen to another excellent episode from the Nefarious Media Network. Since January of 2025, we have been putting it down for the crown, and we've been committed to bringing you truthful, thoughtful, turned-up commentary as it pertains to the worlds of sports, politics, pop culture, pro wrestling, entertainment, and life. Yes, life. This thing that we are all just trying to get through day by day. An electric word called life, as the man used to say. And that brings us to the drive for 500. Yes, 500 YouTube subscribers, which gets us halfway to monetization, and 500 Patreon subscribers. Patreon.com/Nefarious Media Network. That's our stretch goal for the year, because if we hit those marks, it allows us the flexibility and the freedom and the funds, quite honestly, to do some more things here at the network, to be more consistent with our shows, to bring you new shows, and to bring some people on to help with production. So if you believe in us, man, if you believe in what we're doing here, because we got a lot of hard-working people, myself included, working 50, 60 hours a week at the shoot jobs, got families, got kids, got responsibilities, but we still do this, man, because we love this and we believe in this. And if you believe in us and you love the shows that we do, help us out, man. Help a brother out. Help a sister out. That's all we asking, because we are trying to change the game by any means necessary, even if those means may be nefarious.
It's hard out here for a pimp when he tryna get this money for the rent, for the Cadillacs and gas money spent. We'll have a whole lot of jumping shit.
I made a vow to have peace, no matter how many people I have to kill to get it.
Oh, Peacemaker!
Yes!
You're that racist superhero!
No.
You only kill minorities, man!
I killed a fair amount of white people, too.
The ratio is suspect is all I have to say.
If somebody's committing a crime,
Yes?
am I supposed to control what their ethnicity is?
No, but you need to watch white people as closely as you watch people of color so you see more of them committing crimes.
Fine, that's a good point. I will trust white people less in the future and kill a higher percentage of them. Are you satisfied?
Yes. Thank you. Now, what do you need?
1, 2, 3, 4. Everybody talking about flag in the flag in the flag in the flag, flag in the flag in the this is the that is the this. All we are saying is give peace a chance. All we are saying.
welcome back to the Kings of Sport Patreon, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, brothers and sisters of all ages. Well, maybe not all ages, because this show a little grown. So maybe you got to be like 15 and up to be listening to this podcast about this particular show, because we are back for a bonus episode here on the feed talking about Peacemaker. Yes, the racist superhero Peacemaker. He got his own show on HBO Max, so we figured we would assemble a team, much like they did in this show, to talk about it. So let me introduce two of the three folks that will be joining me this week. First of all, you know this woman from many various appearances here on the Patreon, talking about Hamilton, talking about her origin story as a superhero, talking about many various politics, talking about various things on the channel. She is one of my co-hosts on the Lituation Room, formerly the Black Lightning podcast. And you can also catch her sporadically on the Naomi podcast over the DCTV Podcast Network. Ladies and gentlemen, Vanessa Shark is here. Vanessa, how are you?
Hi, I'm good. I've been wanting to talk about the show with you for a while. So I'm really excited. All of these wrestlers are getting their time to shine. I love them. We can't wait for them to get Oscars and Emmys.
Yes, one day when John Cena and The Rock and Batista just sweep all the awards categories.
Yeah, everyone has to have a weight limit just to get nominated.
We won't even have categories in the Oscars anymore to be like weight classes. The best actor in a heavyweight division goes to.
Exactly.
But speaking of pro wrestling, I first met this gentleman through the world of pro wrestling, tangentially, from live audio wrestling and post wrestling and the good people up there in Canada. And he is ready to talk about John Cena, Peacemaker, and everything that entails with that. Marc Laferriere is here. Marc, how are you, brother?
I'm doing great, brother Nate. Thanks so much for having me. Vanessa, super nice to meet you. I've been listening for a bit now and just super excited. I got notes, even though Kris told me not to bring notes. I got props, even though you can't really see them on the podcast. And I am very excited as somebody who dabbles in a couple of different things to talk about this show. And as somebody who's met John Cena a couple times. I did a battle rap with him once. So yeah, here we go. I'm excited.
Yes. Well, speaking of John Cena, you know, John Cena's big catchphrase in the world of wrestling is "you can't see me." And for the longest time, I couldn't see the fourth member of our team, but he is here. Daylight saving time be damned. Ladies and gentlemen, from Los Angeles, the mayor of Los Angeles, the king of the Crypto.com arena, the Professor Kris Ealy is with us. Kris, how are you, man?
I'm doing well, despite that coin being all the way down for the crypto.
How much of your retirement fund did you put into this crypto, Kris?
Look, I don't do that shit. I put like what I could afford in it, and then let it just sit and not mess with it. Yeah.
So this is our team here: Vanessa, Kris, Marc, myself. We're going to talk about Peacemaker on HBO Max, and I'm going to turn it over to Kris here in a second, but let's go around the room really quick, because I know, Vanessa, you and I talked along with the rest of the crew about Suicide Squad, and then we got the announcement about the Peacemaker show. So before the show debuted, how hyped were you for seeing John Cena get a spinoff?
Not really at all, not because of John Cena specifically, because I actually really liked him as a Peacemaker, but there are so many. I'm a DC fangirl, first and foremost, and there are so many DC characters that have long since earned their own shows, their own movies, and I'm just like, why is Peacemaker getting a series when the last time we saw Peacemaker was like, I'm pretty sure the Multiversity, which was like years ago before New 52, and then like he's now getting his own titles again in the comics, which is a vastly different version of him. But I was just like more annoyed than anything. And so I was just like, whatever, I'll check it out because it's John Cena. And the fact that I think Danielle Brooks is her name. She was great on Orange is the New Black, which is one of the reasons I kept watching it. I stopped watching it after a while, but she's great on that show. So I was like, all right, the cast is pretty solid. So I'll check it out. But I wasn't hype at all.
Mark, what about you? Were you excited for the show when it was announced?
See, I was super excited because I'm a huge John Cena fan, but also I'm a huge DC Comics, specifically Mark, with a C and with a K. And I was sitting there, and I do agree with Vanessa. Like, there are so many other shows, there are so many other completed runs. You know, I sit there and I dream, like literally dream about a Hitman TV show with the John McCrae, Garth Ennis series, things like that. Right, not the video games, but I sit there and I was really hyped because I think there's a John Cena effect, and what I mean by that is I don't know if you remember, but they released a John Cena DVD where Vince McMahon starts talking about him like he's in love with him, like he has no other sons or well, maybe he doesn't anymore, but Vince is talking about him, and even his album was good. Even his album, it was pretty good. And then I listened to James Gunn talk about John Cena on the set of the Suicide Squad. And I could tell it's the John Cena effect. James Gunn fell in love with him and wrote him a show. And that's what happened. And so I was excited about that piece because I think James Gunn, a lot like, say, Jon Favreau, has done a lot in film, but maybe TV is actually where they're meant to be for real artistic comedy, action, and heart. And so I was really excited from the get-go. And I feel like, spoiler alert, I feel like that's what it delivered. So I'm excited to talk about it.
Yeah, for me, before we get Chris's opinion, is like I was kind of in between where Vanessa and Mark were. Like, I was excited just because, you know, it's new content and also it's John Cena. Like, John Cena is like, I've only met one person in my life, like somebody that I actually talked to that doesn't like John Cena. And it's because he reminds her of an ex-boyfriend. So it's like, okay, I get it. But like, it's very hard. Like, kids like John Cena, old people like John Cena. Like, race, well, don't matter your race, you like John Cena. He has, like, and I don't know if John Cena's a good dude. Like, you know, these people be out here lying, Vanessa Shark, these celebrities and whatnot. John Cena could be a terrible person, but the John Cena persona is somebody that I'm like, you know what, I'll check whatever that dude's making. You know, I might not like it or stick around to completion, but that didn't even sound right, but let's go with it. It fits the tone of the show. But like I'll check it out, you know, and I'll at least give it a look. And so I was like, you know what, I'm like Suicide Squad. I liked it, but it wasn't. I don't know if I liked it as much as everybody else did. Like I liked it, but we talked about it, Vanessa. Like just that kind of violence and some of the humor just didn't hit for me. But I was like, you know what, I'll give it a shot. But I have to say again, spoiler alert, much like Mark, I ended up enjoying this show a lot. Kris, what were your thoughts heading into the show? And then lead us down this path, Kris, about what we're gonna be talking about with this show this week, man.
So I wasn't excited about this show at all because I liked the Suicide Squad, the first one, even though it was I see the faults in it. I thought it was fine. I don't, when I watch those kind of movies, especially with a group as like obscure as a Suicide Squad from the comics, I don't need a great plot. I just need, you know, funny lines and Will Smith saying "ah hell no" once and shit blowing up, you know. So I got my money's worth with the first Suicide Squad. And then the second one I liked a lot. I've never been a fan of Starro as, you know, just in any incarnation of him I've seen outside of the comics. And even in the comics, I just never did anything for me. And then John Cena, I've always contended like Cena is okay when he's supposed to be like comic relief. I don't like it when he's the lead in movies necessarily. I did like the best movie I thought he did was probably where he's the guy in the movie was that movie with Lil Rel. I thought that was okay. But I just see that.
I don't even remember that movie.
Was that the wrestling one where he was an amateur wrestler?
Nah, hell no.
Okay.
It was this
like
this movie.
The Marine? No.
It's on Hulu. It was him and the girl from Insecure, Molly. I can't think of her real name. And then Lil Rel and the girl from Insecure are a couple. and then John Cena in this
Vacation
girl
Friends.
he's with.
Oh, I remember seeing commercials for that. Yeah, Vacation Friends.
Yeah, so that's it. It was funny,
Mm-hmm.
but the movie wasn't great. And John Cena hasn't been great in things to me. I think he's been like as fodder and stuff. The Amy Schumer movie had funny lines in it, but I just never trusted him as a leading man.
Damn.
And that's where I think James
this
Gunn
Cena blasphemy out here.
No.
Yeah, that's where I think James Gunn is so gifted, because I think James Gunn is like really good at highlighting this guy's strengths. Because even in the Marine was okay for a WWE movie.
It's the music. The music in that movie is horrifying. But so you're saying that James Gunn is the horse whisperer of John Cena?
Yeah, he really is, man. I think James Gunn gets like even the concept of a Peacemaker movie, and I'm a DC head like everyone else, on this panel, and I just never cared about the Peacemaker enough to want to see him in his own vehicle. And even in the Suicide Squad film, I hated the Peacemaker. He actually made Rick because I hated Rick Flag in the first movie, but in the sequel, the Peacemaker was such a dick that he made Rick Flag a good guy for me, So I didn't know what to expect out of this series, and I was very pleasantly surprised.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think for me, like, and we can start getting into the show now. Like the thing that kind of jumped off, at least initially to me, Vanessa, was this show is going to be like, we got a great cast. We've got, a lot of tie-ins to the movie, but this show is James Gunn. And I think that's like, if you don't like James Gunn's sensibilities or sense of humor or, kind of his style, then this show probably isn't going to be for you, because like whatever James Gunn is, the comedy, like his love of 80s music, like this is what we got in this show. And so I think the tone is maybe what I got into initially. Like the first scene we get in the hospital where, Peacemaker's talking to Jamil, the janitor, and he's like, again, the racist superhero, and he's like, nah, I kill everybody, and he's like, and like just that conversation, I was like, okay, this is going to be that kind of show where we mix in like some little interesting biting commentary with also we're going to have some dick jokes, and we're going to show you John Cena's bare ass, his hind parts in the first 5 minutes of the show. So what did you make of like just the first episode we saw Peacemaker, Vanessa?
You're right. It feels very much like James Gunn's aesthetic. And I was worried at first that it was going to feel like too much like that opening scene of Guardians of the Galaxy where he's like dancing through with his Walkman. And I was like, this feels like a James Gunn thing. And it scares me sometimes when creators like put too much of themselves in something that's already well established, like a comic book thing. But he does it really well that it makes sense for the character. If you're picking the right character, he's not doing it for like, I don't know, Cheetah, like, or Wonder Woman.
Yes.
Like that wouldn't fit the sense, the tone.
Like we wouldn't hire James Gunn to do a Black Lightning
for that. Yeah. And so it feels like it fits Peacemaker's, whatever he's trying to build for Peacemaker's role, because he's trying to build this like, his perception is he's a racist superhero, and that's the established thing. Like, oh yeah, he's racist. And he's like, wait a minute, what? I'm not racist. And it was wonderfully set up, and also the setup of his bisexuality was wonderfully set up. Something that I was like, I looked over at my husband because I watch it with my husband because he's a wrestling fan, loves John Cena, all that. Actually, he hates John Cena, but he loves him now. He hated John Cena back in the wrestling days.
I think that's how all of us probably felt. Like there was about 5 or 6 years where John Cena was just shoved down people's throats, and we're like,
That's why he was like, I just John Cena. But he's like, the John Cena songs has actually worked on him. So he was like gung ho about watching to begin with. But I looked over him and was like, I think he might be bisexual. And my husband's like, you think everyone's bisexual? I was like, whatever. Because I'm bisexual, spoiler alert. But yeah, so I really liked the crumbs that they laid throughout the episode. I think that's what I remember from the first episode. Yeah.
Mark, what was your first impressions of the show?
Well, first of all, Kinsey would agree with you, Vanessa. Everybody is a little bit. And my understanding is John Cena pushed for that bisexuality piece in there, which was great too. My first impression of the show was that it mixed dumb and smart really well. So it has the peak 80s, 90s action movie vibe, which I think is kind of missing from this sort of budget of show. I'm so glad it wasn't another CW show. Not that I don't like the CW shows, but there's so many of them, right? There's so many of them.
Vanessa and I are with you.
Yeah.
I've had to tap out on those for a bit at least. And so it did that, but I also think James Gunn, without having to stop every 20 minutes for the blockbuster action set piece, is able to do the dialogue, the character building, and that piece. And that's what I found right at the beginning is here's this dumb stuff of the action movies I loved when I was a kid. But then here's this biting commentary that's thrown out there and with humor. And I know people who hated the show because it challenged their ideas.
Yeah.
Right? Which is like, how did that happen in a Peacemaker show? I don't know. And Peacemaker being James Gunn gets to own Peacemaker because unlike Wonder Woman, Cheetah, Batman, and all these others, Peacemaker is sort of a blank slate other than,
he's a Charlton comic.
Exactly.
Yeah, not even DC truly, yeah.
Yeah, and even when he is, it's now DC's leaned into the John Cena of it all as well. So James Gunn gets to do that the same way Iron Man wasn't Robert Downey Jr., right? It became that. So I think this is a good pick for James Gunn. That's what he did with Guardians as well. People didn't care about Guardians. I did because I'm a big comic fan, but people didn't care about Guardians. He picks his spots really well, even Vigilante, which we'll get into, but he is nothing like the character in the comics, and it's perfect. It's perfect. So I was blown away, but from the very beginning, my wife sat down with me to watch the show, and she could not get over the dance scene. and watched it on a loop. Had me rewind it. We show our kids that dance scene; they love it. Okay. And there's like spoilers in that dance scene. Like there's to do it. It's amazing. It's amazing.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
I want to say just a quick aside. Legion on FX. I think a lot of shows owe a lot to Legion because Legion opened the door for weirdness in shows, like in comic book shows, and the gates have been flooded ever since Peacemaker, Doom Patrol, and WandaVision. Like shows have been embracing their inherent weirdness since then, and I just want to give Legion its flowers. I really think it's the one that set up everything. So sorry, go ahead, Chris. I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, it's all gravy. Because that Wigwam song, "Do You Want to Taste It?" I remember when it came out. It was like 2009ish or 2010, something like that. I first saw it on like MTV2 at like 12 midnight or something. It was late. It might have been even 3 in the morning. I didn't like that song. I was like, this is horrible. And then they played it on the first episode. I didn't even realize that was like the opening theme on the first episode. I thought it was just some crazy James Gunn crap that was part of the show. And then the second episode, I was like, oh, this is gonna be opening the show every week. And I thought it was great. It made me actually like that song, with the dancing and like Mark said, with all the spoilers in the theme song that you don't even pick up on until, like, for me, it wasn't even until like the episode that he had to this is a spoiler review, right?
Oh yeah. Come on now. Yeah, if you listen to this, we assume you've watched the show.
Yeah. So the episode where he had to off his pops, that's when I was like, oh, okay, I see what's going on now. And then the next episode, I was like, oh, okay, so he shoots at the screen and his dad comes up. So it's like cool shit.
Yeah, that opening sequence was like, yes, it was very James Gunn, and it was like, this is what y'all gonna be in for. Right. Well, let's talk about the cast real quick. So we got John Cena, as we've established, as Christopher Smith, Peacemaker. We got Danielle Brooks, who I think kind of stole the show a little bit.
Yeah.
As Leona Adebayo, who we'll talk about him in a little bit, because I was surprised we saw her mama in this series. I was like, okay, this is what we doing. We had Freddie Stroma as Vigilante. We had I'm gonna murder this dude's name, Chukwudi Iwuji as Mern, Jennifer Holland as Harcourt, and Steve Agee as John, and we saw those last two in Suicide Squad. So like I thought that the cast was really well selected, Vanessa. I enjoyed kind of the camaraderie, might be too strong of a word, but the interplay between the team, especially when we get more of Peacemaker and Leona.
I think they're so much fun. The cast chemistry is actually super interesting because they all like don't really like each other. They're there for work, and they also don't like the hero that's on the team anyway. And then there's this randomly vigilante that comes on. And he's just like, "I'm your best friend!" And like I love his energy and the way he just came in and just injected. Like there was like a weird wholesomeness about him, even though he's a freaking murderer. And he was so great, and especially because we've recently had a live action Adrian Chase vigilante in Arrow, which I actually liked. That was one of the better villains on Arrow that they actually didn't butcher too badly. So it was interesting seeing the two comparisons, because this version of Adrian Chase was like a schoolboy who will literally enter prison to beat up people and threaten white supremacists. Like, I love him so much. He was just so
felt
great.
Like very much like one of the Kick-Ass kids, I think.
Yes,
He kind of felt like one of the Kick-Ass kids.
Yeah, very much that. I love Leota and Chris's friendship. The fact that he was so hurt by like her, betrayal, which is very Amanda Waller-esque, because like of course she would raise her kids and manipulate them into doing things like that, and she immediately felt guilty. Like I really liked her her morality throughout the entire space, throughout the entire series, and Harcourt's just like, man up, shoot somebody, and couldn't get that hard. And I really liked and then eventually they all bonded and stuff, which is super cute. I love a found family. They didn't quite get to that place, but you could see the path that they were on to getting there and how they were protective of each other. And yeah, I don't know. I really like the cast. There's other like Myrn is great. The reveal and I kind of figured that he was a little bug, but the reveal was great. And the fact that he still cared. And I cry when she held him in her hand. I did. I got really emotional over that. And that is a testament to the writing of the series and how they built the relationships over. Because why the hell would I cry over that? If I had seen that scene out of order, I would have been like, what the fuck is this? But because of the way they wrote the series and the way that the characters have cared about each other over the course of the series, that scene hit harder than I expected it to. Yeah.
Got you out here feeling emotional over these insects. We did forget one important cast member, Ealy as Ealy.
Shout out to Ealy.
I think the cast was probably one of the biggest strengths of the show, Mark. And again, like I can't say enough about Danielle, because I feel like even though it is Peacemaker's show, I feel like she was in a way like kind of the heart. So what did you think of the cast, man?
Yeah, she was our entry character, right? So with all these weirdos, she's the one that we can relate to, right? And she's the most normal and sort of moral, but she struggles, right? And it's so well played. She's strong and she's vulnerable and she's loving and she's tough. She's exactly what you'd think Amanda Waller's daughter would be like if she was a little more to the light side, right? And then I love this dynamic that so I come from a mental health background. I'm a social worker by trade. And, you have an anti-racist sociopath in Vigilante. And then you have a very feeling person who's raised by a racist in the Kris character, the Peacemaker character. And I think that's a really interesting dynamic, because they're both essentially children. They're playing children. They're acting like children. But they have very different... how do I put this? Very different worldviews and very different traumas, right? So then you also have this piece with Adebayo where, she's fighting something. But what I really think, again, I'm going back to Gunn as the showrunner. I think DC and Warner Brothers gave him the keys to the kingdom and said, do what you want. And that's why it's a good show. And I think he cast this thing with people he liked. He clearly liked John Cena. He clearly loves Harcourt because he's marrying her in real life. he's worked with Steve Agee for years, and even that piece, nobody's really talked about Agee yet. I was not that impressed with the Economos character until the last two episodes, and then I was literally, I had notes saying, I don't get this character is being underutilized and underused. And I mean, I had a tear in my eye when he's talking about dye beards and why he does it, and he's oddly, I guess, the everyman as well. So you have two everyman characters, every person characters who are coming into this from very different points of view, and I just think Adebayo stole the show. I think that Vigilante is developing this like fan base now in the community. I collect some McFarlane action figures. Here's my prop again, and the outcry for Vigilante figures is like huge now. Right, but he's a sociopath. People don't forget that.
And the thing is, before I go to Kris, you bring up the James Gunn of it all, and I think if you look at Gunn's work, particularly in the superhero space, it is a lot about fathers and sons, or parents and children, and that's what the crux of this show is. When you think about it, we've got August and Christopher, and then we've got Amanda and Leota.
Well, and even that, sorry to interrupt, but even that piece there, you have the bad dad, but you also have what we forget, a reunion from the Marine, which is so important to this, right? the dad was in the Marine.
Yep.
Yeah.
Right. So you take John Cena's sort of maybe worst movie, his debut that was just horrifyingly bad, and you recast him with his acting buddy from there, and they make gold. They make this golden movie.
It's about redemption, Mark.
That's right.
Kris, what'd you think of the cast, and why was your favorite character the White Dragon?
So I thought like I said, John Cena's goofiness doesn't always work for me. On WWE, it really stopped working for me, like probably like around his 5th year in the company, on the main roster. But like I said, James Gunn does that Cena brand of goofiness. I can't think of another word for it, but he does it very well. And he plays to Cena's strengths. And that's what
we do need to think of a new word, Vanessa, because I was going to say it's sophomoric, but it's a little smarter than sophomoric, but it's not quite like super. It's not like senior smart. It's like whatever if we're sophomoric here, like he's like junior humor.
I get what you're saying. Yeah, I get what you're saying. I don't know what I'll noodle on it, but
there's lots of like sex jokes and body humor and
fratty boy.
But there's also like some heart there too.
Huh? Yeah, it's stealthy sophomoric, right? Because there's lots of points to this show. Like here's an example of it being sophomoric without it being sophomoric. There's a lot of drinking in the show, but it's sad. It's never glamorous. It's never fun. It's sad bastard glamour. Sad bastard drinking, because these are sad characters who are using it to cope.
Yeah. And then also I with Adebayo, them giving Amanda Waller a daughter. I wasn't sure how I was going to feel about that at first, because the way Amanda Waller was always presented to me in the comics, whether it was the classic Amanda Waller, where she's just this big bulking woman, or the hot Amanda Waller that they did in the New 52. She always was kind of a personality that just didn't seem like she had time for guys or kids or anything like that, but on this show, that character works.
Kris is just saying that he never watched Black Lightning, because if you watch Black Lightning, Amanda Waller and Agent Odell.
Please stop.
There's something, James Gunn, if you want to borrow that for a plot point in season 2, feel free. Just give me 10%, brother.
Nah. I will say Amanda Waller in the DC in the recent in I think either the Rebirth era.
Yeah. She has Rebirth era.
Kids. Yeah, she's 3 kids. One of them is her daughter is giving birth. The kids don't talk to her. Her kids hate her. So
she had them in the past too. The Ostrander Suicide Squad. That Amanda Waller did have kids, but that was a reveal.
Maybe that's what I'm referring to. I know there's a version of her that has 3 kids, a girl and 2 boys, and her kid had
twins.
Yeah, and they were not speaking to her. So she I mean, I think it marries with that idea of like she puts her job first, but at one point she did have children, at least this version of her did.
But that's a bit of that 8mm thing, right? Where like she's this monstrous person, but in a way a villain, in a way not. But she has this normal life, and that's actually kind of a reveal in the comics. Like, oh, this badass that you think is this evil Lex Luthor has kids, but it's Amanda Waller. She has a family life that she separates from all this, and I like that they're bringing that into the show and showing that she has a weakness.
She does,
but it's also a strength because Adebayo, the woman who plays it so well, and it's written so well.
Yeah, and then I liked Murn's character. There wasn't a character on this show that I didn't like. That I wanted everybody to return for season 2. I thought everyone served their purpose. Even the cops, Sophie Song, and the guy that Lachlan Monroe plays. I thought they were good. I thought everybody fit into a perfect space on this show. And I can't say that about a lot of shows, especially comic book shows, because sometimes it's like there are a lot of unnecessary characters. And this show, I didn't think had too many of that.
Yeah, I would say for the most part, the story was pretty streamlined. I think the butterflies, like the first time, because I've watched the series all the way through twice. And I think the first time the butterflies were introduced, Vanessa, I was much like Peacemaker. I was like, what the hell are these butterflies, man? I didn't know if it was based on something from the comics or what, if this was a new concept strictly for the series. But I think by the time you get to the end, and especially on a rewatch, you do kind of get the story, and there is, like you said, that emotional connection when we find out what's really going on with these bugs.
I don't know if there's something in the comics specifically about the butterflies. Maybe Mark might know, but I didn't think so. But there's been stories like that where there's been invading species and stuff like that. I mean, one of my favorite Starro the Conqueror ones, when little Batman adopts little Jarro. Starro, and he's like it's fantasized about being a little Robin. It's like my favorite storyline because Batman can't help but adopt anything that is in need. But I don't think the butterflies are comics, but I think that's why I was really impressed with James. I think he created his own a seemingly generic villain. Like these are aliens who lost their planet, came to Earth, started body snatching. I mean, that's a pretty common alien trope in in sci-fi. But the way he did it was interesting because they weren't making terrible points. We are toxifying and poisoning our planet. We're literally terraforming our planet to make it uninhabitable for human life. Earth will survive humans. We might not survive humans. And so I thought their points were very on the nose, very much and I feel like we're getting a lot of properties and medias, movies, TVs that are pounding this point in, don't look up and things like that are like, hey, humans, you're the bad guys. Hello. So I thought their point was, it made sense. And this is another, thing where Peacemaker had to make a hard choice. But at the end of the day, taking away human beings' agencies still isn't the best choice, especially when you're killing the human host. If the human host survived, I would have maybe a different view, but they're literally killing their human host. So
that's the thing too, right? No villain thinks they are the villain in the story that they are telling, right? With the butterflies. And with the humans, everyone thinks that their way is the right way. Right. I do love because Don't Look Up was my favorite movie last year.
I liked it. Yeah.
And anytime there's as an aside, anytime there's a property where there's some kind of social commentary where they tell, like the Joker, for example. I remember people hated that movie, and I loved it because I'm like, if you've ever been a person who had a hard time getting their medication and the shit that you needed just for sheer survival, you're going to relate to that movie. You know what I'm saying? And then with the Suicide Squad, with all the, with all the bullshit going on the planet right now, you know what I'm saying? It's just, I thought it was a relevant social commentary.
Yeah.
And it didn't beat you over the head with it.
No.
It just said, this is what's going on right now. Humans are depleting resources and, you know, complaining over minor inconveniences, and, you know, and that is where we're at today, you know.
Yeah, everybody's the bad guy in the show and kind of in the world. So if you think about it, you know, Amanda Waller doesn't think she's the bad guy.
Right.
Peacemaker thinks he's a good guy. He thinks he's a superhero. None of the agents think they're a bad guy. The aliens don't think they're a bad guy. Mm-hmm. And yet all these bad guys are doing things that they're trying to do that are and this is where it challenges folks like anywhere on the sort of political spectrum too, because there was clearly a lot of analogies for, you know, the environment, a lot of analogies around COVID and masking and shots and things like that. And, you know, if you're one part of the spectrum and you go, wait a second, the environmentalists are the bad guys, right? But in another perspective that you know, it challenges folks on another way, because, you know, clearly the only completely negative thing in this movie, in the show, is racism, right? Racism is the only thing painted completely, you know, pardon the pun, black and white. Like the only total jerks are the racists, and that challenges, you know, racists. So there's a lot of challenge to this, and I think. Kris, you talked about two different things. The Amanda Waller piece, how great is it that she plays such a role in this without it being like, she's not Coulson from Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Like she has two little cameos, and yet she's looming throughout the entire show. She's brought up constantly. And then James Gunn did that thing that indie filmmakers do, which is you hire good actors for smaller parts like the police and the chief and all that. You kill them, and then they come back as the bad guys. They come back as the aliens. So you get to keep those good actors throughout the entire series. When normally, if this was a CW show, they'd die. They'd be gone for 7 episodes. They'd come back as a bad guy. You know, they were able to just roll right through and tell a complete narrative. But again, even the cops who are, for most of it, good guys, they become bad guys too. Like it really flips and plays with that. What is a villain? What is a hero? And even the Justice League, and spoilers, but when the Justice League come in, they're jerks too. Right? Like they're jerks who came too late and don't care about the little guy.
Yeah. Well, for me, you know, just a point of clarification, the cops were always the bad guys, but that's just me.
I don't know if the cops are ever good guys, but
I meant Song. I meant Song and her partner.
Yeah. There were two. There were two Song. Like I think I'm not sure about Lachlan though. I mean,
maybe not. He
looks like he's like back in high school. He did something shady.
Maybe
he's always. We're so used to him being the jerk in
every movie.
Yes, he's typecasting, because I'm like, that dude. I know he's gonna do something bad, and then he's
just a normal guy in this. Is where it's like Peter Green. Anytime you see him in a movie, you just know he's gonna be a piece of shit. Lachlan Monroe is the same way. There's a few people like that, you know. Keith David is one of them. You just see him in something, and you're just like, this guy's going to be a bad guy.
Yeah, like with a voice like that, you have to be you're either God or the bad guy.
Yeah.
I think for me, and I do want to get back to the butterflies, Mark, because I want to get your opinion on that. In terms of the effectiveness of the story, particularly for, I think there may be a lot of people watching that were kind of coming in cold without, you know, a lot of background based off of just either John Cena or, I heard that Suicide movie was pretty good, a Suicide Squad movie. But I think for me, I'm always in for shades of gray, because that is the world. Like, that is where we're at. I think that Amanda Waller, and I didn't think about it until you just brought it up, Mark. I thought she was in this series a lot more than she was.
Twice.
Because her presence was always there. You know, and shout out to Viola Davis for the cameos, because I do think like tying everything into the movies, and that is one thing I'll give this series credit for. Like when you look at when Marvel first kind of started doing this, the movies and the shows were connected, but they really weren't.
Yeah.
Whereas
Marvel
this is like
did it in a bogus way. Yeah.
Marvel did it in a little like come on, like
little cameos. Yeah.
Like sorry, but the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. thing, the episode that Sam Jackson is on, you automatically know that nobody's gonna phase him on bullshit ABC. You know what I'm saying? It's like, come on, man. This is.
And did he ever come back? Like, I think he showed up in that first episode.
And wasn't there like the 8th lead from one of the Thor movies showed up for?
Yes,
Sif showed up.
Was part of it. Yeah, they did Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. dirty. They did a lot of Marvel did a lot of their.
They did their TV
dirty before.
They hated Jeff Loeb. Because even the shows like Daredevil and Luke Cage that were amazing, right? Those shows are amazing, but they only ever got to have like a Daily Bugle newspaper article showing an event in the background.
The bootleg guy in Luke Cage. I got footage of the incident. The Hulk smashes up Harlem 4K.
Yeah, I love Jason Hammer, and it's name dropped briefly, right?
Yep. I think like there's a newspaper in Cloak and Dagger. We're getting off track here, but Cloak and Dagger. I thought Cloak and Dagger was a strong show that didn't get a lot of love. But like there's one scene in Cloak and Dagger where Tyrone is reading a newspaper and it's like Luke Cage, hero of Harlem, and it's like, I see, we told you we were connected, but really not.
That's it. That's all you get. Yeah.
That's all you got.
But this was like you could tell this was a part of the world that we saw with the Amanda Waller cameo, with the Justice League thing. Like I was surprised about that because I didn't know about it before I watched that episode. That they showed up.
That was held very tight to the chest, and it shows the legitimacy of the Peacemaker show, and this is the DCEU. Also, like very firmly saying the past Snyder stuff is done. Like that's not the direction they're going in, and it seems to be that formula seems to be working or they want it to continue working because we're getting a Penguin show, which I am hyped for.
Yeah,
because I didn't like the Penguin on Gotham, so I wanted
the Gotham show.
Yeah,
the Gotham show I stopped watching after a season and a half. I was like, all right, that's enough.
Fish Mooney haunts my nightmares. So that was she was acting in a whole different show than everybody else on that show, right? but I think too they do a good job in this of there's some deep cut Easter eggs, Matter Eater Lad and people like that. Without it being a big deal if you're not familiar. Like so Vanessa and I go, I'm trying to high five my wife my wife's looking at me going, who's Matter Eater Lad? I'm like, I don't know, but the Legion exists. But
exactly.
but it didn't bump her for a second, right? Because it was still a funny joke and you got the context and Batmite and things like that. And just the idea too that there's a different point of view of these heroes, like the shit talking that happens about all the other Justice League characters. And again, they're sort of wrong at the end. Like that to me is that's DC again saying, here Gunn, like make this almost $1 billion franchise the criticize it, make it the butt of the joke, and that's okay, right? It's okay. It's just make believe.
They're just doing that opposite of whatever Disney would do.
I think I like the theory that the Justice League are the bad guys. I think they were off-world handling other shit. That's what I choose to believe.
But they often are. That's the thing. The Justice League is usually off. They've done storylines upon storylines where the Justice League has become ineffective in protecting the planet because they're so busy fighting threats above that they're not actually looking down below. So the criticism actually is fair. If that's the Peacemaker criticism, then that's what I choose to believe, that they're making that criticism, like the Justice League is out of touch. And
little of that hard traveling heroes commentary, right? That old Denny O'Neil, Green Lantern, Green Arrow. We were out there helping the Green Man, but what about everybody else?
Exactly.
Yeah. Right.
Well, I'm glad you brought up Green Arrow, because this part with the Justice League reminded me a bit of Justice League Unlimited, which I think is still the best representation of these characters ever. And in the season 1 of Justice League Unlimited, you get Batman and Green Arrow, and Batman's like, we need you to join the Justice League. We're trying to get the squad together, whatever. And Green Arrow's like, you guys don't care about us. You don't care about the little people. You're worried about all these big off-world threats. And Batman's like, well, when the big threats come, they tend to step on the little guy first. And that's how Green Arrow ends up joining the Justice League. And I like that the league is not infallible.
Yeah.
Right.
And that there is a criticism to be made. And so, and the fact that, again, like that Peacemaker just, has the gumption to call them dicks to their faces. Like that's Superman, my guy. And you just, or Superman stand-in, to be accurate.
Yeah.
I think that's great. I think it shows a bit of a conviction of character, and that the character comes a long way, right? Like this character, he is an asshole in the Suicide Squad. Like he is, like you said, like he can make you like Rick Flag, right? And then by the end of this, you like him, right? Because you've seen this journey, you've seen the context, you've seen the trauma, and even at the end, I mean, he has the bit of courage of convictions when he agrees with the butterflies and still kills them. Right, because they'll hurt his friend, because he does believe in some idea of the freedom to choose, and yet he's calling the Justice League dicks, and he's dealing with the stuff with his dad. Like there's just so much growth in the character from conflict, from interpersonal conflict, not from the fighting and the battles, but from the interpersonal conflict he has with his team, with Vigilante, with his dad, and on, right?
I think, this goes to a point that Kris made earlier. I feel like at the end of the day, maybe it had to be John Cena in this role, because I think one of my favorite Peacemaker scenes, and it's a very small scene, is when we first meet Vigilante and he's like kind of creeping outside of Peacemaker's trailer, and Peacemaker is crying because he feels like he don't have any friends. Like the team doesn't like him, and then he's like legitimately crying. He's sad about this, and I think there is something in, like, it's a funny scene. It's played for laughs, but it's also, there's some heart underneath that, Vanessa. And I feel like that's what John Cena gives you. He gives you like the goofy stuff, but there's a good person underneath all of that. Yeah.
I think that people who probably understand the character, especially in meeting his dad, that's when it clicked for me. And that's one of my only criticisms of the show, is that they focus way too much on making him unequivocally the bad person. Like, we get it. We don't need the 15 million slurs and Asian jokes and like insult and stuff. We got it. He's a racist, like Grand Wizard type racist.
Yes.
Like, we don't need much more than that. So I feel like there was a little bit of too much.
Man was holding a Klan rally in the middle of his jail cell.
Like, we got it.
They layer the villainy. It's layers and layers and layers.
A little thick with him, but I got it. As soon as we met his dad, I instantly understood who this version of Peacemaker was. He was raised in violence. With completely alone. And when you're a kid raised in violence, and I'm speaking from experience, you isolate and you literally have to find ways mentally to protect yourself. Right. Dude, and he took that and he literally has this shield, and he still has a relationship, a messed up relationship with his dad, but he has this shield. He's got all of this armor on to protect him, and he's got this, and even the love for America, peace at all costs, is still in armor to protect that little kid, because he never got to grow up properly. So seeing him cry and all that stuff and wanting friends is just him reaching out for things he never got when he was a kid. And he literally killed the only other person that saw him for him and was like, treated him like a person because of his father. And so seeing all of that and like his relationship with Vigilante, versus everyone else in his life, and like how him trying to connect with Leota, like the emotional core of the character is because he's a child, and that's why he behaves the way he does, because he never got to grow up the way any kid should grow up, Yeah,
it even shows through like little things, Kris, like his music choices. Like he's stuck in that time period where like when we see him with the butterfly chick he meets at the bar, and like, he goes back to he makes the choice, he makes the decision to steal her CDs and her albums as he is making his escape. And so like what did you make of like kind of that side of Peacemaker? And also Vanessa brings up Robert Patrick, who like most of us would probably recognize the most as T2 from the Terminator, like that.
Not from the Marine. No, I'm kidding.
I mean, it's obviously like it goes unsaid. The
1A, 1B
of the Marine, right? And then T-1000 from the Terminator. But what did you make of that dynamic between father and son?
I thought it was interesting because and this is one of the things that I noticed with my own friends that have parents who are racist and stuff. It's really hard to disconnect and hate a parent, even if they are somebody who does and says toxic things, And I like the fact that he wrestled with that, because that's how it would be in real life. But then he comes to the realization that his dad is an evil man. I mean, even the fact that his dad had the audacity to blame him for killing his brother shows just the kind of piece of shit his dad was, is actually was, because he's dead on the show, but he'll be back in season 2 fucking with his head in some way. But it was just very interesting. And that's kind of like, it makes you think that maybe Peacemaker saw a human side to his father that no one else sees. Because that's kind of like even me in my own relationships with people who have been historically racist or stereotypical to me. And people are like, why do you still fuck with that dude? Usually there's something there that I see in them that nobody else sees. Not saying I defend the racism or whatever, but like, I had a friend's dad who I know is pretty racist, but when I was in high school and my car was wrecked and I didn't have anywhere to fix it because I didn't have the money to fix it, he helped me do that. You know what I'm saying? So it's just I like the fact that it showed how complicated that relationship could be. It's not like it wasn't just, oh, this guy is a racist dick and I hate him. He killed that guy when his father left him no choice but to do that.
Yeah. And as Murs says at one point in the series, like his greatest motivation, talking about Peacemaker, is to belong to something.
Yeah.
And that can be traced back to his father. Like there's a reason, like you said, it's complicated for Kris because he knows his dad is a bad dude. Like, but even like when we first meet him and Ealy gives Kris a hug and he wants his dad to take a picture and his dad just walks off. Like he wants that validation from his father. And that is one of his motivating driving forces.
I'm going to go full social worker on everybody here, but there's a concept in social work that's sometimes we, especially with young people, we see clients and we want them to be where we're at and not where they're at. And there's this idea of starting where they're at. And, you'd work with these kids. And I used to work with kids who are a lot like Kris in this. And I have some upbringing growing up in some pretty bad places. And, but I've made it and I've, blah, 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 blah. And you'd see these kids and you'd almost feel like a sense of disappointment or unease. And then you'd go on a home visit and meet their parents. And you go, oh, you're doing so much better than you have any right to. Like you have a whole different context. And I feel like, again, this show is telling us, like, let's start where Kris is at and let's see where he gets when we water his plant a little bit, right? With friendship and purpose and he's challenged by things and has to, and even, some of it's pretty funny, but some of it's pretty dark. And we're starting where he's at in the Suicide Squad and then ending where he's at by the end of the show as a more fully formed person who has been through some things, experienced some things and has changed and grown. And this is a silly show, but in another way, it's a really good show that makes you think about growth and also makes you ask questions about, we've seen a lot of the most negative things of people in the last couple of years. How do we get people back? Okay, that's where they're at. How do we bring people back in? How do we help people grow? How do people grow? And how do we return to something that's a little more human? That's what Kris does.
Yeah, and then the Peacemaker also, Kris, he's such a he always has to validate himself, even over the silliest shit. Like there was this one scene where after the alien tries to kill him, and he was like, You left to get a rando for a blowy from a rando. Byrne says that to him.
Yes.
And then he's like, no, it wasn't a blowy. This was full on. like, why do you need to?
Yes.
Like specify that,
Yeah.
Yeah, he does the same thing with any of the sexualized comments when the female characters try to say, no, that's not how you should say it. He still, no, this is what I mean. Let me try to, which
The
how
sweet
many,
cheeks.
yes, how many of us do that when we've been trying, like we don't know, somebody tells us and we get defensive, right? And I think there's a lot of commentary in the show that's on a second viewing, I saw a lot more of it. Like you were saying, Brother Nate, when you watched it a second time, when I watched it a second time, I saw a lot of that commentary about society. It was throughout, but you don't realize that when you watch it once because you're also looking at the narrative of the show and what's going to happen and the mystery of it all, right?
And I think a character for me, Vanessa, that gets better every time I've watched the series, and we're going back to her, is Leota. Because not only is she our conduit to this crazy world, as Mark said, but I feel like she has some of the best moments over the course of the 8 episodes, ranging from very funny to emotional. So what did you make of Danielle and her performance?
I think one of my favorite moments was when she kind of manipulated Vigilante into killing Peacemaker's dad, and then she immediately felt bad about it. Like she's like, and I liked the moment of like, and those were a couple moments like that where she did something and then would feel bad about it. You could see it on her face, and I think that's a testament to Danielle Brooks' acting, because she's very much a face actor. She can say a lot with just her face and her eyes, and I felt that like tug of war between like the devil on her shoulder of like her mom, Amanda Waller, and like her wife and her family, and like that, like the goodness of that, and
that dog in that outfit, those outfits.
I dressed my dog up too. I was like, I relate so much, and like that was like.
I mean, Vanessa, he doesn't like the outfits. He's just looking for attention.
He loves the outfits, damn it. But no, I loved those moments of like between her, the tug of war between her bad side and like her, what she thinks is right, like what she thinks she's supposed to do according to her mom and what she thinks is right. And I do think that those narratives kind of parallel between her relationship with her mom and Chris's relationship with his dad. And the fact that that's why they connect so deeply is because they have, abusive parents. Amanda may not have been physically abusive, but gaslighting and manipulating your kid into doing war crimes and treason and things like that nature, that's also a form of abuse. And so that is something that I really like that they connected on. And I really liked the moments where she got to, be a badass and then immediately like panic about it. Cause I feel like most of us would be in that situation. Like we get a lot of adrenaline and we'll do something if we can go fight or something. And then immediately after goes, I can't believe I just did that. Like that's that's just a normal reaction. And I think she was the most real and most normal thing. And one of my other favorite moments was she put on the damn thing and he activated the torpedo.
Bonked.
I'm sorry, but that is one of the most visually chaotic and insane things I've seen in a while. And she, the way you just started, she's covered in blood, and I was like, that's my girl. So
yeah.
Here's a subtle thing I just realized, Vanessa, when you were speaking, is that both Kris and Abadeo were also trained by their parents as kids, right? And they bring up that she's got all these like trainings from when she was a teenager, and that's context that like you don't think about actively, but after what you just said, I went, wait, she's this loving, peaceful person, and yet she had to be trained in these things. I'm sure it wasn't something she wanted. I'm sure it was something that was hoisted on her by her mother, right?
Right.
That's true. Yeah. Very valid.
What did you think of kind of Leota's journey, Kris? Because I thought, again, to me, she was no shade to John Cena, but she was the star of the show for me.
For me too.
It could have been called Out of Bio and Friends. That could have been the title, and I would have been cool with it.
And I just like Danielle Brooks. I've always had a crush on her. I liked her on Orange Is the New Black. She does this acting, like she has this vulnerability to her, but she also like struggles with decision making, and that's just me in a nutshell, man. I always struggle like with just basic choices like that, right? And her choice is a little bit more complex, but it's a lot of cognitive dissonance between her because she doesn't really know what the right thing is to do. And the way cognitive dissonance works is you got to kind of fight through two feelings that you might feel at the same time, but only one of them is, you got to get rid of one of those thoughts to be at peace with yourself. And she, like, suppose she didn't do that, a lot of other crap could have happened from her not doing the bad stuff, you know? Mm-hmm. So like, is what really was a good sound decision for her to make, you know what I'm saying? She did what she felt she had to do. And I stayed sympathetic to her more than anybody else throughout the whole series.
Mm-hmm.
And she made good too, right? She like stuck it to her mom even, and nobody's done that in the DC. Batman couldn't do that.
She exposed the yeah. And I think at the end of the day, like I don't think any of us knows truly what most of the time, like what's really good and what's really bad. But if a decision is making you physically ill, it's probably not the right decision. And I think that she over the course of the series, she was understanding like that she doesn't have to do what her mom wants her to do just because, you know, I think that was something that she'd struggled with. And like, I appreciated the way the series kind of set her up as the good person of the squad or of the team, that she, you know, kind of pushed some of the secrets into the light, because the Suicide Squad and Task Force X or whatever has always operated in shadows. That's kind of the whole point. But yeah.
Any thoughts on any of the other characters that we met along the way? I feel like there's been a lot of JudoMaster erasure on this podcast.
I'm sorry, what was the point of JudoMaster?
Judo who?
Could someone complete? I really wanted to like him and understand, but what was his purpose in the story?
Eating Fritos is not a character trait.
Flaming hot Cheetos.
Yeah. Sorry, we're in Canada. We don't get those here. So
Yeah, I don't know.
Disappointing.
I have no thoughts because I don't, other than why. And
I think and I'm trying to get into James Gunn's mind here. I feel like JudoMaster was a funny concept, both from like kind of the physical sight gag of this dude that's like 2 feet tall, just wrecking everybody. But I don't know if they had anything else thought out past that initial episode where we saw him.
Yeah, I felt like it was he spent after that, and then they just. Or he had something else at the end and then cut it out. I don't know. Something felt incomplete about his story.
Yeah, and I think they might delve into that in season 2. But yeah, I agree. It really didn't seem like he served any real purpose other than to be kind of like the roadblock in their plans, you know. Mm-hmm. And then the actor does really good martial arts moves and stuff too. So I mean, just see like that. I did love that Cheeto scene though, where he's flipping the Cheetos.
Yeah, that was funny. He was like, does a spin kick on one of the Cheetos.
Yeah. That was hilarious to me. So I did like at least that.
Mm-hmm. I wonder too if because Cena's such a big guy and Economos is a big guy, and I wonder if there's a bit of a sight gag piece about like this little guy who can kick butt, but that's not really a character. And in the comics, JudoMaster's not tiny. There's nothing there, and it's kind of like I hope there's a make good for that character, because he's not dead, but very, very sort of underutilized, considering it even breaks the piece about all the spoilers in the dance scene, because he's sort of the big finale of the dance scene.
Yes.
And he is not the big finale of this TV show. No.
Yeah.
I think maybe Vanessa, because I think there is for James Gunn, he does maybe have a tendency to overstuff. Like, he's good at team building, but sometimes there's characters in the team that get short shrift. And like, I'm thinking of like Guardians 1 with a character like Nebula. And then we see where Nebula goes in Guardians 2. So when he gets that second time around, maybe he gets to flesh out things a bit more.
Yeah.
Maybe JudoMaster will get the Nebula treatment, but right now he feels very much like a one-note joke that was funny for one episode, and then the joke kept going.
Yeah, agreed.
Yeah, I wonder if Vigilante ate up a lot of that, right? Like maybe Vigilante's role grew.
That's possible. Yeah.
I could see that.
Really
yeah. And I will say this about James Gunn too, because I'm like Vanessa. I watched Arrow and all that stuff. I didn't like Adrian Chase on Arrow that much. I just thought he was just so.
I thought Josh Shigeru did a really good job, considering how many terrible villains we've gotten.
Yeah. The only thing I just never.
Hold on, Chris. I'm trying to remember. Didn't he accompany Stephen Amell to WrestleMania that one year?
I think so. I think he was at that WrestleMania.
Oh yeah.
When Stephen Amell fought.
Was it WrestleMania or SummerSlam?
It was SummerSlam, I think.
SummerSlam. Okay, was Stephen? What was it? Pop Adrian Neville that he fought?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was. He fought. It was him and
Stardust.
Adrian Neville against Stardust and some dweeb that was teaming with Stardust. Was it Ziggler? I forgot.
That sounds right. And the dude, the actor that played Adrian Chase on Arrow came out.
Yeah,
like as Stephen Amell's manager or whatever.
Yeah, but I was saying that I like that age because I just never understood the Arrow Adrian Chase. I understood he was broken and he was mad and angry, but I thought some of his just plans to just fuck up Stephen Amell were just so kind of just to the point of like.
Blame it on CW.
Yeah, they tried to mix
got a formula.
They tried to mix that Prometheus stuff in there too.
Yeah,
right?
I made him Prometheus. I was like, wait, didn't he play Prometheus? I was like, and then I looked it up. I was like, nope, he was both. They made him into Prometheus.
But I'll take an Adrian Chase over Damien Dark any day, right? That season is horrifying.
Wait a minute now.
I love Damien Dark.
Damien Dark is great, Mark.
I love him Legends more than Arrow.
I like Damien Dark, but there were some episodes
like Legends. Damien Dark is amazing.
Damien was better.
Okay, I haven't seen that. But Arrow Damien Dark was a pretty lame. I kept waiting for The Rock to come back from Walking Tall and kick some.
Shout out to Neil McDonough out here. Get these checks. We could go down a CW rabbit hole, but we're not.
Don't let me do it.
But we have heard the news that Peacemaker is getting a season 2. They're coming back. Like it was renewed pretty much immediately, almost. So. Thoughts on what you would want to see out of Peacemaker season 2, and we'll start with Mark.
I want to see them bring an Arrow to this universe, but I want it to be the granola chewing hippie lefty Arrow to kind of
real Arrow, Arrow.
With a beard.
and he's a real superhero, right? So you got Peacemaker who he still keeps the Kite Man news clipping that the one time they called him a superhero, and then you have this real superhero who's going to challenge him in that way. They're going to be competitive. I'd love to see Vigilante love Green Arrow while Peacemaker doesn't, but I'd love to see a little bit more of that left versus right and actually make Arrow the Denny O'Neil hard traveling hero Green Arrow, who is connected to the Justice League, but hasn't been seen in that Snyderverse, right? So I think that could be really good. Sort of like what you see with Guardians, where you see Thor and Star-Lord, and that dynamic there, but we'd have a TV season to deal with that, not a couple lines at the end of a movie, right? I think
you're totally in charge. Everybody knows that.
Yeah, exactly. And I think, again, it's the source of authority that here's the real deal, who's as good and better than Kris in all these ways. I just also, I want to see what they do with the surrounding cast almost more. I kind of know what Kris's journey is, right? Where do they go with the rest of the surrounding cast who are now more competent, more bonded? What challenge do they face? What I don't want is the same thing that kind of happened with the first Suicide Squad movie, which Kris, I also really liked. I took a lot of heat from my friends for really liking that movie. But what I don't want to see is sort of the replay, which is I don't want to see it being another alien threat. I don't want to have a big giant bug or cow at the end of it. I don't want to see the butterflies again. I want it to be something else. The same way that first Suicide Squad was, oh wow, there's a thing that the light's going to the sky and we better stop it. I'm tired of those tropes. I'd like to see something else. I don't know what it is, but I don't want to see that again. Right.
I really like the Green Arrow idea. That hard traveling heroes run is still one of the best, in my opinion, with that relationship between Ollie and Hal. Kris, what are you looking for in season 2 of Peacemaker?
So I just want that. I want to see all the Suicide Squad members get something. I want to see I want to see Idris Elba get a show. because I know there's going to be another character that gets a show. I want to see Idris Elba and Will Smith in a movie together. You know, my ambitions are very high for this. The second season of the Peacemaker, I definitely want to see. I want to see just where he goes on his journey as far as like where he is at in the second movie. I'd like to see more interactions with other DC characters. I wouldn't mind seeing something with him and maybe like Arrow. I think the Green Arrow I think is a really good idea, because although I love the Green Arrow, the Arrow show on the CW. I watched, that was the one show in that universe that I stuck with from the beginning to the end. They still borrowed too many Batman tropes on that show. He was basically Batman for TV. They didn't make him his own character. Even to his villains are Batman villains mostly. So I want to see. I wouldn't mind seeing Green Arrow on as this comic book guy, like the how do you say it? The hippie, the guy that's the
bleeding heart liberal.
Yeah, the bleeding heart liberal to Hal Jordan
with the sweet goatee.
Yeah, conservative. Yeah, I would like to see that. That's what I would want to see. I just want to see the evolution. I'm interested in to see what James Gunn could do with the season 2 of this show. I just think the possibilities are endless, and I just think about all the stars in the DC universe that they got. Like, I want to see John Cena and Will Smith interact with each other. I want to see Will Smith and, it's just all kinds of different things they could do,
Yeah, I think for me, Vanessa, like the way this season ended, there could be a vacuum with Amanda Waller. Like Amanda Waller allegedly being held responsible for her crimes. But we all know what Amanda Waller, she gonna get out of it one way or another. Yeah. But now you've got this group that is kind of autonomous in a way. Like they're not beholden to Waller, but they're also not like the Justice League either. And so what does a quote unquote team Peacemaker look like?
Let me answer what I want to see for season 2. I didn't even get to answer.
I was leading that up to pivot to you.
Anyway, so I don't care about the Suicide Squad. There's too much. This is a Peacemaker show. Peacemaker season 2 is about Peacemaker. So while I would like to see some other Suicide Squad show or characters, that's not what I care about. They're literally going to get another movie. They'll be fine. Yes. So what I care about is the actual character, like exploring his bisexuality and actually explicitly talking about that. There is his dad literally called him out on it, and that was it was such a big moment, and I want them to explore that. Like, how does that factor into his decisions, and does he have self-hate? Like, is he what is he? What kind of men are he into? And he's, you know what I mean? So I'm very curious about that and like how they will explore that, because I feel like he's just like an angry bisexual man, and I relate to that somehow. I'm just like, yeah, get into it. So I want to explore that more. Obviously, he has like feelings for hardcore, and I love that. I want to see, what that like looks like. I don't care to see a lot of romance in the show. I don't need to see it, but I do like the dynamic of like how she's very cold on him, and then he's growing on her. And also like this, what is Vigilante's relationship with Peacemaker? Is it like fully on like we're my best friend, like idol worship, or is there something deeper underneath there, like that he has feelings for? I mean, they've had a threesome, so they're obviously like been sexual with each other. So I want to explore the bisexuality of all. I also want to explore the other actual Peacemaker character. Like Peacemaker was with the era that he was created out of. What are those heroes? I want to kind of see if those heroes brought in to the Peacemaker suit,
like the Question.
Yeah, like the actual turn, like I think it was she was called she was what Silk Spectre was based off of.
Right.
Those characters, the guy that played like
Blue Beetle.
Beetle, like the characters that were like that came out. There was Captain Atom and stuff like that. I would like to see like some version of those characters brought into Peacemaker too.
Nightshade is who you're thinking of.
Yes. Okay, so I was like, I know their names. I can see them in my head. I would like to see something like that. Like if we're gonna bring in heroes, you guys are talking about Green Arrow. Black Canary is already confirmed an HBO Max show. So I actually would rather to see Black Canary because we already have a crossover potential for that. I would like to see Black Canary. I would like to see him up against his ideals up against an actual female superhero who's looked at like a hero who he has, might have different ideals with, and he won't flirt with, and he's like very terrified of, or like has a different interaction with. Like there's so much potential with this version of Peacemaker outside of just like Suicide Squad and like the. I think there's a potential to really go bigger. He assassinated JFK in the past. Like, what are there a potential for him to assassinate presidents and stuff like that? Like, I want to kind of see like what more we can do with him. Plus, I do want to see more of the cast. Like, does Leota have siblings? Like, what is her family dynamic like? And more of Diebeard. I'm sorry, I can't not call him that. My bad. I do want to see more of him because I don't like that he was played with mostly for fat jokes. Like I don't like that at all. He's a character, a person, and he's very insecure. And I feel bad about his leg. I want to see more just about his home life. I actually want to see more of just what are they like in their personal lives. I know that's like a lot, but I just want to see because I care about them so much. And then we're going to be missing a character next season, Mern. So I
pull one out.
Yeah, right. Are we going to get a Mern replacement? So those are things that I would like to see. And I'm a little bit nervous about Peacemaker season 2, but I think he could do it because I did not like Guardians of the Galaxy 2. I thought it was a steep decline in quality from the first one. But since this is a TV show, he'll have more room to breathe, so I have faith in it.
Yeah.
I'm wondering too, like this show really does trauma well. Like, and it's not a show about trauma, but like even things like, we talk about this 80s, 90s music, but that's numbing. He's playing, he gets drunk, self-medicating, puts loud music on to keep his thoughts out, has flashbacks to like, Peacemaker, what a joke, right? All that stuff. He's kind of like, this is the only time I'll compare John Cena to Philip Seymour Hoffman, but if you watch Boogie Nights, right, there's that scene where Philip Seymour Hoffman's character says he's an effing idiot 100 times, right? And there's a scene like that in here. Like the trauma is played really realistically. At the end of the show, I wrote down like psychosis ? And if they're doing trauma actually well in this very exaggerated world, I don't want it to be the white dragon or the red dragon has a chip in his head or anything stupid like that. I want it to be like, no, now James Gunn is going to take a look at psychosis and what that actually looks like. And yes, it'll be in this exaggerated world, but that actually helps people talk about that. When I teach about mental health, like psychosis is a very misunderstood disease. And it would be very brave if that was a part of the show that was done in a realistic way in this very abstract, hyper real world. Right? That'd be brave.
It's not unheard of for HBO shows to do that, to create topics that people talk about. 2 years ago, people didn't even know the Tulsa riots and massacre wasn't even a part of our conversation until Watchmen thrust it in, and people were like, that didn't happen. That happened. So these HBO shows, most of them are pushing those type of stuff. Even Euphoria, I don't watch it, but I know people are talking about, teenage drug use and all that stuff a lot more because of these shows. HBO has, even if you don't like the show, they have that formula, like CW has, like almost a formula of like, have something to say,
HBO has that.
Yeah, I think they do have like a directive at some point because I don't think any show on HBO is purposeless, in my opinion. I don't watch them all, so I may be wrong.
If any show was ever going to be, they could have with Peacemaker, and they did.
Yeah,
that's true.
It could have been the one to fall into that trap. Yeah, and I think, like that's going to be interesting is how do we balance? Because I think that might be the toughest trick for Gunn in season 2 because, the goofy is what got a lot of people in the door.
That's right.
How do we balance that with more of this character development, more of these topics that we want to get into? I think he can do it. The question is, will it land as well as a lot of parts of season 1 did, or will it end up in that JudoMaster pile over here that wasn't quite fully realized?
JudoMaster is the Jar Jar Binks of the DCU.
No, not that bad.
Yeah.
Oh, poor Judo.
I do think
I feel
because there
so
has
bad
been a lot of
for
kickback against JudoMaster. I do think they'll find a way to
Yes.
redeem him
I agree. Yeah.
in season
He
2.
might have a really deep and emotional backstory that we don't know about yet.
Maybe he'll be
Right.
The
in
fact that
the
they
next
kill him
Suicide
off
Squad.
when they could have,
Yeah. And I'm sorry if all those Marvel Disney Plus shows got awards consideration. Some of them I didn't think deserved the consideration that they got, but that's another conversation for another day. But I do think that Suicide Squad at the very least deserves
Peacemaker.
SAG award for ensemble casts if they're awards eligible next year. Because I thought the casting on this show was just phenomenal.
Agreed. And part of that why Disney Plus pays for allegedly, sorry, but they do pay for a lot of promo and a lot. That's
Nikki got shooters out here, Vanessa.
Yeah, allegedly. But a lot of the awards consideration, a lot of that is campaigning.
Right.
So Disney's putting a lot more effort in that than Warner Bros., which is currently going through its own sale. They may not be focused on that, but Doom, the ones without campaigning and all that, Doom Patrol has been nominated for Emmys in the past. So the shows, without campaigning and all, there's an effort to people are recognizing them, and I'm hoping that Peacemaker gets that same recognition. And because it's a James Gunn show, and he has that cachet, I feel like HBO is going to push. They're going to campaign behind them, so we'll probably see Peacemaker nominated for acting and not just visual effects and stuff, but we may see them in visual category or in acting categories, which I'm hoping for. Danielle Brooks ate that up, so I really hope she gets nominated for supporting actress in something. And for that.
And as Mark mentioned earlier, Vanessa, bringing it all full circle, John Cena has this effect on people, and I think even if Cena was bad in this and everybody else was good, I think his presence elevated it and probably put it in front of more eyeballs than it would be if it was some other random buff white dude in that role.
I was prepared to never give Cena credit as an actor because I just never saw he never moved the world for me. Even that Ferdinand movie, I thought it was okay.
All these jumping movies I've never heard of.
Even that firefighter movie he's good in. People are sleeping on Cena.
I forgot John Cena played an animated bull.
I've seen a million Pixar movies.
Ferdinand's
awesome. Better than Ferdinand. So,
but that's Pixar. You can't compare Pixar to the independent animation studios.
When you do that style of movie, that's the bar that I'm always going to be looking at.
I heard Ferdinand.
And but yeah, I just thought he was always going to be a character, a bit actor, a character actor, somebody that you can rely on for star power, but not somebody that can be a leading man in something. And I think this Suicide Squad, what James Gunn was able to do and what Cena was able to do, they were able to show me that Cena in the right vehicle, not that blockers bullshit, but in the right thing.
Taking out this man's whole filmography.
He can be a solid leading man, and I didn't think that before the Peacemaker.
That's right.
I know the WWE films are very hard to find, but I got to tell you, he was in this movie Legendary where he plays an amateur wrestler. He was good. He was legitimately good in that movie.
But the material around, I've seen Legendary too. It just wasn't a good movie.
He was.
Yeah, but the trick is to match up a good movie with a good performance. If you're good in a crappy movie, that's cool. Maybe you'll get noticed for something else, and that probably was what got James Gunn. James Gunn probably watched that movie and was like, "Okay, this is."
Got high one night and watched Legendary.
Yeah, he's like, "This is a bad movie."
Wrestlers. He clearly loves the wrestlers.
He does love wrestlers. Yeah,
I did this with Batista. How can I do this again? Boom.
Yeah, he's just
that was the thing too with Batista. I always saw the potential because I thought that movie that he's in with Rob Van Dam and Ja Rule.
Yeah,
where he was the only good thing.
Bloodsport 4, The Man with the Iron Fist, or whatever. Yeah,
The Man with the Iron Fist. That's what it was.
And he was the only good thing in that too.
Here's what I'm happy about for John Cena though is that he was never going to be The Rock. And he was also never going to be Batista. And it sounds like he's found some middle ground. Like Batista makes interesting movies.
That's the thing too. You brought what you bring up, Mark, is I think he probably, if he continues to make good choices in movies, maybe he can be The Rock.
Now, hey, hold on, slow your roll. Pump the brakes, Chris. This man Rock got Black Adam on deck for y'all. You don't know what this man Dwayne The Rock Johnson about to drop on.
Well, The Rock is a steep climb anyway, right?
The Rock's going to get threatened, and he's gonna have Peacemaker cameo and just get exploded in that movie, literally by lightning, just to mess with John. It'll be
put scene in my movie.
And they exist in the same universe too, right?
I know. I would love to see Black Adam and Peacemaker on screen together.
That would be amazing.
That would be cool.
Yeah. There's so much good shit you can do with this univers.
Yeah, that's the thing.
Now that we're out of the darkness, the grittiness, that we can marry the gritty with the humor. Like that's what comic books are. That's the heart of
this show did. Like this show found that because it is gritty, but it's not. But it's hopeful. It's challenging.
Right. Yeah, like that. And that's the thing we've always talked about, Vanessa, as we kind of wrap things up this week. Like there isn't one right way to do a comic film or a TV adaptation. Like you should be allowed to kind of play with all the different colors in the coloring box. And I feel like, Peacemaker does a great job of doing like its thing, but that doesn't mean it's the only way to do things. Like there's other ways, but I'm glad that we were able to get this show, like Kris said, begrudgingly as it was. John Cena did a great job in this project. The cast was great, and I'm excited for season 2. But before we get out of here, let's go around the horn. Kris, other than your internship at Task Force X, where can the people find you next, my brother?
So I'm just trying to increase my social media profile. I've been talking to just everybody about doing everything. You know one way to do that, Kris, put out a bootleg shirt and have some random idiot come after you. This is wrestling Twitter beef that happened yesterday, Vanessa. Like some random dude. So random thought. I was getting random like messages and tweets from people. Like I didn't know what the hell they were talking about. Like, yeah, you guys that post are. What happened? And then I read about stupid shit.
Wrestling fandom's pretty toxic. It's
it's almost as bad as comic fandom.
Yes, you can rank them. Star Wars fandom's probably at the top for most toxic, and then go down.
I would say comics number 2.
Video game fandom's pretty. It has its.
I don't even want to touch the gaming fandom.
Yeah, exactly.
But anyway, so I'm just gonna be around. I know I talked to Mark about doing the Batman review, so maybe one of these days we could kick that out. Man, I'm just real like and I'm still trying to work on getting my press pass for Vegas for AEW. I'm trying to talk to.
So you are heading out for that one.
Yeah, and I'm thinking about it. If I could get my press pass, I'll go to it.
You and Vanessa will have to you and Vanessa and her husband have to go out to lunch, and
I live in Vegas,
and she can bring her dog in a costume, and y'all can have mimosas.
Let's get mimosas.
Yeah. I gotta talk to John and Way about contacts at AEW because I've emailed like several people. I've got Meg's email.
I've heard it's like real stringent. Like there's a lot of hoops you got to jump through.
Yeah. So anyway, I have my generic press pass. So
hopefully you can jump through those hoops, and we can talk to Tony Khan one day because I got some questions for Tony Khan.
Same here.
He might not like, but and what's the Twitter handle, Kris?
KM Easy Does It. So just search that.
So if you got a problem with any merchandise Kris is putting out, you can hit him up there. Again, that story was so stupid. Like I came home from work at 9:00, Vanessa, and there's like my timeline is flooded with this nonsense. Mark.
Yeah. So in my day job, I'm an elected person during a time of COVID and horribleness. So don't follow me. I'd like to use my shout outs instead. I really believe in independent podcasting. and independent podcasting communities like Post and others. There are three. If you dug our conversation today, there are three podcasts I'm part of the community of that I'd like to just shout out. One's the Word Balloon podcast, the kind of cool uncle of comic book podcast, John Centris. The DC3 cast, which just focuses on DC Comics, and they have an awesome community. And the Hero Movie podcast, which is another one. So you know what? Instead of following me, go follow similar things to these sort of takes and tastes, and spread the joy around. And those people should follow Brother Nate and Vanessa and Kris, and don't follow me. I'm a boring elected person in a time of infamy and COVID. So don't worry about it.
All right. So
and I'd love to come back for the Batman. That'd be great.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
We'll definitely have to set that up. And yes, so Mark, it's been fun having you on, brother. And yes, if I'm ever up in your neck of the woods, I will not hesitate to, much like Leota, hit you with a bribery so we can.
I'm down.
We can get into some fun.
Just do not put a diary in my house that I didn't write. That's all I ask for.
Damn, there goes plan A. Vanessa Shark, let the people know what you got going on, where they can find you on these social media streets, anything you want to tell the folks. I don't know why I got into that accent.
A little bit. I'm Vanessa Shark. You can find me on Vanessa Shark and everything. I have a website I blog on sometimes. I volunteer a lot. On my website, there's like a list of links for mutual aid. You can volunteer or donate to Solidarity Fridge and Center at LGBTQ Center of Southern Nevada. I work a lot with those organizations, and I write a lot and I rant a lot on Twitter. Very pro Puerto Rican independence, so you'll probably see a lot of that on my feed. So if you're someone who likes to vacation in Puerto Rico at the time of COVID, you're not my friend. Don't follow me. Just kidding. No, I'm not kidding about that part, but you can still follow me. I'll still fight you though. Love you. Thank you. Love Brother Nate. Also follow us. We do episodes of Lituation Room, and the podcast is at Naomi Podcast. I get that right?
Yes.
So,
yes. It's a shared feed.
Yeah. So I do sometimes I do episodes with a Naomi podcast with Brother Nate and Brittany, and yeah.
Yep. And if you are into comics and Black people talking about comics particularly, we've got an episode of the Lituation Room that should be dropping pretty soon. And we'll probably be recording another one here in the next couple of weeks. And each episode of the Lituation Room features Vanessa's Comics Corner, featuring Vanessa Shark.
I talk about comics.
So yes, and I'm sure on the Vanessa's not going to be on the next Naomi podcast, but I'm sure her name will be brought up numerous times because of something she mentioned like offhand 5 weeks ago that came true on the show the other night.
I do is read comics and talk about it. Yeah.
So yes, I'm glad you were able to make time, Vanessa. If you want more of me, you can check me out on Twitter at @8 MOZAIK. As Kris mentioned and Mark mentioned, I am part of Post Wrestling. Kris and I are the hosts of the NWA podcast, the Nubian Wrestling Advocates, with the young brother Andrew Thompson, where we talk about pro wrestling from the perspective of Black journalists, media members, fans, and hopefully in the future performers will be able to come on the show. The latest episode is up where we talked a lot about Omos, Kris's favorite new wrestler.
He's got a hit out for Kris. I listened.
Yes. So if Omos is in Vegas, I would suggest going the other way, Kris.
Right. Oh, and shout out to Big E with that injury, and shout out to Scott Hall, who's on life support at the moment. So I'd be remiss if I didn't say anything about those.
I was just about to mention Big E, who is somebody that we all like, and I think I've talked about Big E on the show on the Lituation Room before. Vanessa, he broke his neck Friday night, and
oh my God.
But that night he was on Twitter and he's like in good spirits, and it doesn't look like he's going to need surgery. So hopefully he's going to be okay. But yeah, a great wrestler in general, but in particular, like a Black wrestler that should be a much bigger star than he is, but that's not how corporate America works.
I listened to your podcast, guys, and I felt very strange coming on because I felt like Andrew got injured or something, and it's like replacing Big E with Otis, and me coming on here. So in the New Day, I felt bad, but I just got to say your podcast is the best wrestling chat. It's smart. It's prescient. It got some hot takes, mostly Kris, on those hot takes. But it's great. I just love listening to it, and it feels like I just you have some buddies who are smart guys who also like wrestling, and it's just so good, so good.
Yeah, and my goal isn't to have like hot takes. I'm not trying to be like Howard Stern or Charlotte.
They're good takes. They're good takes.
That. But like my thing is I look at everything through a legal lens and a political lens, since that's like you, Mark, that's my field of work. So and I'm not a person whose mind can't be changed, you know what I'm saying? I'm open to whatever. So I just want to
3 years from now he'll be saying almost in the Hall of Fame.
Exactly. 3 years from now, much like he did today with John Cena, he will have a change of heart about that man almost.
Yeah, exactly. Like with John Cena. I don't know about almost, but
I mean, we'll get there. We'll get there, Kris. We're gonna wear you down.
Yeah.
But yeah, thank you for saying that, Mark. I appreciate it, man. Like that's what we're trying to do. We trying to have good conversations, and that's also what I do, as Vanessa mentioned, over at DCTV Podcast with the Lituation Room and Naomi. It's in particular, like I think my genre is black people talking about stuff openly and honestly and blackly and with smarts and funny, and that's what I'm aiming for. So I'm glad that we were able to team up this week. We made our own little squad here, but that's gonna do it. I want to thank Kris Ealy. I want to thank Marc Laferriere. See, I just kind of I let the end of your name just kind of fade off. That way, I don't have to throw in any extra.
I'm going to make that my ringtone on my wife's phone whenever I call her.
And I want to thank Vanessa Shark for joining us. Thank you, everybody, for listening.
They're
coming for you, Kris. John Cena said that man Kris been talking shit about me.
It's the butterflies. They're coming.
But yes, thank you for listening to our Peacemaker review. If you haven't watched the show, I don't know why you sat through this whole thing, but go back and watch it because it is a really good show. And I'm glad that we were able to watch it and then talk about it. So for Kris, for Vanessa, and for Mark, I am Nate Milton. And in the words of that man, Christopher Smith, peace out, motherfuckers.
Come, my lady, come, my lady, you're my butterfly, sugar, baby. Come, my lady, come, my lady, you're my butterfly, sugar, baby. Such a sexy, pretty little thing. This little bitch, you got me sprung with your tongue ring. And I ain't gonna lie, cause your loving gets me high. So to keep you by my side, there's nothing that I won't try. Butterflies in her eyes and her looks to kill. Time is passing, I'm asking, could this be real? Cause I can't sleep, I can't hold still. The only thing I really know is she got sex appeal. I can feel, too much is never enough. You always there to lift me up when these times get rough. I was lost, now I'm found, ever since you've been around. You're the woman that I want, so I'm putting it down. Come, my lady, come, my lady, you're my butterfly, sugar, baby. Come, my lady, you're my pretty baby, I'll make your legs shake, you make me go crazy. Come, my lady, come, my lady, you're my butterfly, sugar, baby. Come, my lady, you're my pretty baby, I'll make your legs shake, you make me go crazy. I don't deserve you, unless it's some kind of hidden message to show me life is precious, and I guess it's true. But to tell the truth, I really never knew till I met you. See, I was lost and confused, twisted and used. I knew a better life existed, but thought that I missed it. My lifestyle wild, I was living like a wild child, trapped on a short leash, parole to police files. So yo, what's happening now? I see the sun breaking down into dark clouds, and a vision of you standing out in the crowd. So come, my lady, come, my lady, you're my butterfly, sugar, baby. Come, my lady, you're my pretty baby, I'll make your legs shake, you make me go crazy. Come, my lady, come, my lady, you're my butterfly, sugar, baby. Come, my lady, you're my pretty baby, I'll make your legs shake, you make me go crazy. Hey, sugar mama, come and dance with me. The smartest thing you ever did was take a chance with me.
Whatever tickles your fancy, girls, me and you like Sid and Nancy. So sexy, almost evil, talking about butterflies in my head. I used to think that happy endings were only in the books I read, but you made me feel alive when I was almost dead. You filled that empty space with the love I used to chase, and as far as I can see, it don't get better than this. So Butterfly, here is a song, and it's sealed with a kiss and a thank you, miss. Come and dance with me. Come and dance with me. Come and dance with me. So come and dance with me. Come my lady, come my lady. You're my butterfly, sugar, baby. Come my lady, you're my pretty baby. I'll make your legs shake, you make me go crazy. Come my lady, come my lady. You're my butterfly, sugar, baby. Come my lady, you're my pretty baby. I'll make your legs shake, you make me go crazy. Come my lady, come my lady. You're my butterfly, sugar, baby. Come my lady, you're my pretty baby. I'll make your legs shake, you make me go crazy. Come my lady, come my lady. You're my butterfly, sugar, baby. Come my lady.